Equals you know that feeling when everything inside you wants to scream, but you stay silent? Your jaw clenches at the family dinner, fork frozen midway to your mouth while Uncle Robert rants about politics. His words slice through the room, and your chest tightens with unexpressed frustration. You want to argue, to challenge, but something holds you back. Later, in the professional arena, your hands go cold under the conference table. Your colleague smoothly presents your idea as their own, and a hollow sensation spreads through your chest. You sit frozen, watching them receive praise for work that emerged from your mind. At 2 a.m., scrolling through social media, your shoulders grow heavy. Each perfectly curated image feels like a judgment. Your throat constricts as you hover over a comment, then delete it before posting. The comparison game is brutal, and you know it. Carl Jung would see these moments differently. These aren't just uncomfortable experiences, they're invitations to understand your shadow self. What are you not allowing yourself to see? Each reaction, the suppressed anger, the professional silence, the social media comparison, reveals something hidden. Your shadow contains the parts of yourself you've rejected, denied, or deemed unacceptable. The uncle triggers something. The colleague's theft awakens something. The late night scrolling exposes something. What if these moments are not obstacles, but messages? Equals what if your anxiety is actually your unconscious trying to communicate something profound about who you truly are? The shadow doesn't want to destroy you. It wants integration. It wants to be seen, acknowledged, understood. Can you listen to the parts of yourself you've been avoiding? Can you sit with the discomfort and ask, what are you trying to tell me? Equals that fear you just felt? It's costing you more than you realize. Your chest hollows out every Sunday night, anticipating another week of professional invisibility. A decade passes, and your expertise remains undeveloped, a quiet whisper never amplified. Colleagues advance around you while you stay perfectly, painfully small. Your shoulders grow heavy with unspoken potential, each promotion passing like a ghost you're too afraid to chase. In your relationship, conversations drift across surfaces like leaves on stagnant water. Authentic connection withers, intimacy becoming a distant memory. Your partner knows a version of you, carefully curated, meticulously safe, but never the raw, vulnerable truth trembling beneath. Each superficial exchange buries your true self a little deeper, your throat tightening with unspoken depths. Then come the 3 a.m. hours, where catastrophic thoughts race like fevered horses. Your ceiling becomes a canvas of inadequacy, breath catching in sharp, panic rhythms. Anxiety weaves itself into your neural pathways, transforming from occasional visitor to permanent resident. Carl Jung would recognize this immediately. Your shadow self, those rejected fragments of your experience, are consuming you from within. What you resist, persists. Each avoided confrontation compounds, career opportunities missed, emotional intimacy denied, inner peace sacrificed. Years accumulate. The person you could have been fades like an old photograph, edges crumbling. Equals your potential becomes a ghost, watching silently as smaller versions of yourself navigate increasingly narrow corridors of existence. Your body knows the truth your mind refuses to acknowledge. The tension, the hollowness, the persistent hum of what could have been. Integration is the only path forward. Not perfection. Not elimination. But honest, courageous recognition of all the parts you've been pushing away. Your shadow is waiting. Not as an enemy, but as an unexplored landscape of profound transformation. Equals so why do we do this to ourselves? The answer lies in a fundamental misunderstanding. You remember the moment your throat first closed, words swallowed like bitter medicine. As a child, you learned silence was safer than speaking. Your truth became a whispered secret, tucked away where no one could see it, where you couldn't even see it yourself. Carl Jung would understand this perfectly. The shadow self isn't born overnight, it's crafted through 1,000 small surrenders. Each time you silence yourself, each time you swallow your authentic response, you create another layer of hidden self. Your stomach drops with recognition. You start seeing the same fear dressed in different costumes across your life, in relationships, in work, in those moments when vulnerability feels like weakness. It's not coincidence. It's a pattern, a carefully constructed defense mechanism your younger self created to survive. And then something extraordinary happens. Your chest opens with understanding. You begin seeing others trapped in the same invisible cage, people performing versions of themselves, terrified of revealing their true complexity. They're not weak. They're wounded. This is how the shadow develops, not as a monster, but as a protective mechanism. Every trait you've pushed down, every emotion you've deemed unacceptable, Every authentic impulse you've suppressed, these don't disappear. They wait. They accumulate. They become the shadow, watching from the edges of your consciousness. Jung believed our rejected parts don't vanish, they simply go underground, emerging in unexpected ways. Your unexpressed anger might become passive aggression. Your buried grief might manifest as chronic exhaustion. Your silenced creativity might turn into restless discontent. The invitation is clear, not to fight the shadow, but to listen. To recognize. To integrate. Your younger self did the best they could with the tools they had. Now, you have different tools. Gentler ones. Wiser ones. Now that we understand where this wisdom comes from, let's break down exactly how it works. Your shadow self isn't a monster hiding under the bed, it's the parts of you that you've pushed away, denied, refused to acknowledge. Those first quiet moments in the morning, before your phone buzzes with notifications, when your mind is still soft and vulnerable, that's when you can hear it whispering. You know that feeling when your child asks a question that stops your breath? Like when they innocently wonder why people hurt each other, and your chest tightens because you don't have a perfect answer. That moment of vulnerability is your shadow self revealing itself, the part of you that feels uncertain, imperfect, deeply human. Look at your hands hovering over the blank page. Your heart races. The fear isn't about the art, it's about what the art might reveal about you. Every brushstroke, every word is a potential exposure of something you've kept hidden. Your shadow self lives in that trembling hesitation, in the space between potential and manifestation. Then there are those medical waiting rooms, where your stomach churns with uncertainty. The shadow self isn't just about dark emotions, it's about the parts of you that feel powerless, scared, completely out of control. What if the test results change everything? What if this moment defines you? Jung would say, these aren't moments to fear, but to integrate. What you resist, persists. What you deny grows stronger in the darkness of your unconscious. Your shadow self isn't your enemy, it's an unexplored part of your wholeness. Projection is your first clue. What triggers you in others? That's your shadow self, waving a bright red flag. The colleague who seems arrogant, the friend who feels needy, these are mirrors reflecting your own unacknowledged aspects. Your work isn't to eliminate these parts, but to dialogue with them. To say, I see you. What do you need? Breathe. You are more than your fears. More than your hidden shadows. Here's where everything shifts. This isn't just a technique, it's a complete transformation. Your palms are slick with sweat, fingers trembling against your pitch deck. Every rehearsed word feels like it's dissolving, your carefully constructed script crumbling. Your chest tightens, breath shallow and rapid. This presentation could demolish everything you've worked for, or so your racing mind screams. But then something extraordinary happens. You recognize this panic as your shadow self's desperate performance, trying to protect you through fear. Jung would call this a projection of your deepest insecurities. Instead of fighting, you breathe. You listen to the trembling inside you. Suddenly, you're responding, not reacting. Your voice becomes steady. The room shifts. Chronic pain has been your constant companion, a battle you've been losing spectacularly. Your shoulders are heavy with resistance, every movement a negotiation with an uncooperative body. You've been fighting reality, exhausting yourself in a war you cannot win. Then comes unexpected peace. Your shadow reveals something profound. Resistance creates suffering. Acceptance isn't surrender, it's wisdom. Your breath deepens. The pain doesn't vanish, but your relationship to it transforms. You are larger than your limitations. Your partner's criticism lands like a sharp stone, something you're proud of, now under attack. Old patterns surge, defensive walls rising, words sharpening for counterattack. Your jaw clenches. Throat tightens. But curiosity emerges. What if this critique isn't an assault, but a mirror? Jung would see this as a perfect moment of projection. What bothers you most reveals your unexamined self. You soften. You listen. Not to agree, but to understand. Each scenario becomes an invitation to see your shadow, to integrate, to become whole. Understanding the shift is one thing. Here's how you practice it, starting today. Your shadow isn't a monster to fight, it's a messenger waiting to be heard. 2 powerful practices will help you listen: projection retrieval and active imagination. First, projection retrieval. Take the high school teacher, shoulders heavy with others' expectations. Every time she feels irritated by a lazy student, she pauses. Where am I avoiding my own work? She asks. The criticism becomes a mirror, not a weapon. The artist, hands frozen above the blank canvas, discovers her creative block isn't weakness, it's unheard pain. Through active imagination, she dialogues with her blocked self. What are you protecting me from? She whispers. The frozen hand starts to tremble, then move. A nurse, heart heavy from daily trauma, learns to welcome her shadow's grief. Not to wallow, but to understand. She imagines her exhaustion as a character, tired, compassionate, overwhelmed. What do you need? She asks. The dialogue transforms her suffering into wisdom. These aren't quick fixes. They're excavations. In week 1, you'll feel vulnerable. Week 2, uncomfortable. Week 3, something shifts. By week 4, you're no longer fighting yourself, you're befriending your entire landscape. Common mistake? Thinking integration means perfection. No. Integration means radical acceptance. Your shadow carries gifts, creativity, resilience, depth, buried beneath judgment. Jung understood something revolutionary. What you reject controls you. What you embrace, you transform. Your wholeness isn't about eliminating darkness. It's about turning toward it with curiosity, compassion. Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's the unexplored territory of your most authentic self, waiting to be welcomed home. Once you've practiced these techniques, the next step is weaving them into daily life. At 6 a.m., your coffee ritual becomes more than caffeine. Steam rises, soft and promising, as warmth spreads through your hands. You're not just drinking coffee, you're listening. To the quiet. To the whispers of your inner landscape. What parts of yourself have you been avoiding? What shadows lurk just beneath your morning calm? By 9 a.m., the Zoom call arrives. A demanding client glares through pixelated screen, their criticism sharp as screen glare. Your jaw tightens. But instead of defending, you pause. Where does their anger live inside you? What unacknowledged frustration are they mirroring? Your supervisor's micromanaging email arrives. Each question feels like an accusation, your chest constricting with familiar email anxiety. But now you recognize this, their need for control reflects something unresolved within you. Not a threat, a message. The annual review looms. Your heart pounds, rehearsing answers. But this time, you're not performing. You're witnessing. Each nervous breath carries an invitation. What part of yourself are you trying to hide? What potential lies in embracing your full, messy humanity? As evening settles, you lie in bed. Your body releases tension, muscles softening. The day's interactions replay, not as judgments, but as conversations with your deeper self. Each interaction a mirror. Each reaction a clue. You're learning, integration isn't about perfection. It's about presence. About turning toward what you've been avoiding. About hearing the whispers of your shadow self with compassion. This is not perfection, it is direction. Let's bring this full circle. Remember where we started? That family dinner where tension crackled like static electricity, your chest tight with unspoken resentments. Those career fears that made your stomach churn. That relationship where you felt perpetually misunderstood. Now, everything has changed. Your breath is different. Softer. More intentional. You've learned that the parts of yourself you've been hiding, those shadowy fragments you've pushed away, aren't enemies. They're messengers. Wounded parts seeking integration, not rejection. At that family dinner, you no longer react from old scripts. Your jaw, once clenched with inherited anger, now relaxes. You listen. Not to defend, but to understand. When your uncle makes that provocative comment, you recognize the projection, his own unhealed wounds speaking through him. Your hands remain steady. Your heart open. Your career? No longer a battlefield of constant anxiety. Fear doesn't control you because you've dialogued with those scared inner parts. You understand their protective intentions. They're not obstacles, but allies whispering wisdom about your authentic path. In relationships, you show up fully. No more performing a persona that feels like a tight, uncomfortable mask. Your true self emerges, vulnerable, complex, beautifully imperfect. You've retrieved projections, understanding that what triggers you reveals your own unintegrated shadows. Carl Jung would smile. This is individuation, becoming whole. Not by eliminating darkness, but by embracing it. By recognizing that your shadow contains unexplored gifts, creativity, raw power. Not tomorrow. Right now. 1. Name one shadow part you've been avoiding. 2. Ask what it needs from you. 3. Listen without judgment. Your transformation begins in this moment.